Hey everybody, Hoosier Jedi here with another review for you. This time talking episode 4 of Season 3 of Legends of Tomorrow, Phone Home. And as the name of this episode implies, it's basically a gigantic shout out to E.T. With, as more than a few people have observed, a few references to things like Raiders of the Lost Ark and rather non-80s in a more modern twist, yet retro, more than a few nods here and there to Stranger Things, which this episode coming out about a week after season 2 of Stranger Things premiered on Netflix, probably not a coincidence. Ditto the whole situation with Ray having a little fort out in the woods where he hangs out. But, and of course the, retro 1980s setting. Oh, goodness me, sorry about that. I was having some apple tea and I took a sip of that just before I started recording. I guess some of it went down the wrong hole. Good stuff, though. Good stuff. Anyway, let's get right into things. So let's deal with the whole Stein subplot, which is all well and good. I mean, naturally, Stein wants to be there for the birth of his grandchild. Nice touch that the child ended up being named Ronnie. That was nice. That was cute. But it does sort of run into the big problem of, hey, you guys have a time ship. You can just go and be there for the birth of your grandchild after you help everyone else save the day. But of course we can't do that because that would just make things too easy. But still, they're obviously setting up for Victor Garber to leave the series, which he's stated he's planning to do. And okay, are they going to have to find a new host, or are we just going to go with the idea of Jax being able to become Firestorm all on his own? Well, I mean, it has been shown to be possible that for the non-Stein host to be Firestorm by themselves in the past in the comics before, so I have a feeling they might be going for that. And seeing Mick in this episode having some really nice comedic moments, especially like him just sort of like giving a sort of little nod of approval when he sees young Ray shoplifting, and him being intensely amused that young Ray did some things that were even bad. That was pretty funny. I did like that they did mention that Ray did have a brother. Again, kind of a nice nod to season 1, but we never actually see his brother anywhere. And since they're twins, you would sort of assume that they're the same age. So, where is his brother? I don't know. In fact, what's the deal with Ray's dad? Who's Ray's dad? I don't think they've even said anything about that. I don't know, maybe Ray's brother was with Ray's dad. Who knows? The whole thing with Gumball, I mean, it did look pretty cute. Obviously taking some cues from Baby Groot in Guardians of the Galaxy, which, okay, fine. Also kind of a nice little continuity nod, bringing back Agent Smith, but really dropping the ball on the whole, this guy hasn't aged a drop since the 1950s. That was lame. That was seriously lame. I mean, seriously, you couldn't have put some gray in his hair, given him a wig, done some makeup to make him look a little bit older? I mean, that's just lazy. And, Nate continues to be the source of this really disappointing comedy that I think is really the biggest albatross around this season's neck. Here, seeing him just like hit on Ray's mom, and then it turned out to be like apparently he was making out with a Dominator. It's just like, oh, come on, we could do better than this. And then there's even the whole situation with Ray. Like, they go back in time, and Ray's like, hey, let me take you a tour of my hometown, rather than focus on, like, hey, let's make sure my younger self doesn't die, and then we can enjoy the pleasures of 1988. 1988 wasn't that great, by the way. I was there. Let's see. What else do we have to say about this episode? They did some nice job starting to flesh Zari out as a more full-fledged character. Her finally starting to bond with the team, Ray's bonding exercises. Those were pretty hilarious. And I definitely love that bit at the end where everybody shows up in their superhero costume and teaches the bullies dressed in the Halloween costumes of the bullies from the Karate Kid a little bit of a lesson. I mean, Isis is even wearing like a dead ringer of her copy. Well, not 100% exactly, but really, really close to her just full-fledged, unabashed comic book outfit, um, which I got an enormous kick out of. Again, Isis isn't a character I know super well, but still, that was nicely done. Although now that I think about it, maybe that was a little bit more of a nod to like the '70s Isis than the more modern comic book character. I'm not 100% sure on that. Let's see. Anything else we need to talk about? No. Like I said, this episode was fun, but it definitely felt a little bit thin. The problem with Nate is the source of comedy wasn't as strong this episode as it was last time around, but I really just wish they would try something else in terms of comedy with him as a character. Whatever they're doing here, whoever's writing this, it ain't working for me. Ugh. Anyway, guys, that's everything I had to say about this episode, so I'm going to call it here. As always, please comment, rate, and subscribe. And of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Hoosier Jedi. And please also join me on Tumblr, Jedi Reviewer. Until next time, take care and have a good one.